Green lights to go ahead.
Alright. Hello everyone and welcome to the Hooligans podcast. This will be officially episode 3, unofficially episode 4.
Yeah.
We have a lot of talking points today, especially compared to the other episodes.
We do have a lot. I don't know if we're gonna hit
also,
them all, but we'll try.
I want to say sorry about the delay on the last episode. Real life stuff comes before the podcast.
As in, I didn't edit it.
No,
So
you didn't have to say it. You didn't have to say it. You didn't say it.
I said it. I've been
Okay.
lazy, but that's okay. I'm back on the grind, and we're about to fucking crush it. Let's get
We're
into
on the
it.
grind. We're gonna make one of those rich people daily morning routine videos now.
Oh my god, yes. Wake up, I read books in the shower, read books. You never
Those
stop.
videos, like,
There's-
I wake up and I like to read a devotional out of my favorite
Yeah.
author's book.
It's like, no, you
shut
don't.
up.
Nobody does.
You wake up and snooze your alarm 20 times like every other
Ew.
American.
I actually,
No.
I already told you about
Okay,
this, but
okay.
I missed class today because I slept in.
Yeah. Wait, did I
Classic.
tell you about the time that I got to stay home because my mom was working night shift, right? So she got home and went to sleep, and I forgot to set my alarms.
Oh, really?
And yeah, I leave to go to school at 7:20.
Which sounds like hell to me because I don't have to be there till 9:30.
Yeah, I know. But I didn't wake up till 8:15,
Oof,
and that's when school starts.
that hurts.
So this is what I did. I woke up in a panic at first, then I calmed down, then I went into my mom's room, took advantage of the fact that she was sleep deprived, and said, "Mom, I woke up late, I'm not going to school." She was like, "Alright."
Dude, that is a genius play. I thought you were gonna say you took advantage of her while sleeping. And
Whoa,
I know. I was about to say you're
whoa.
crossing dangerous boundaries, brother.
Oh.
But I know that might be the worst feeling ever.
It
Is
is
just
awesome.
waking up and you're like, oh my god, I'm late. I used to have
Mhm.
nightmares about the bus leaving me. And like you slowly run after the bus. It's only ever happened once, but
Wait, it's
gosh.
happened to you?
Yeah, I was running down the road with shoes in my hand, and I was like, my hair was wet from the shower. It was terrible.
this-
All the kids were
was this
laughing at
at-
me.
South Carolina or Illinois?
Yeah, this was in middle school, man.
Oh,
I know.
wait, what grade?
I think it was 8th. So you just saw my big ass self bounding down the street,
Yeah.
waving my arms like, please stop. I want to go to
I'm
school.
assuming they didn't stop.
No, they did eventually. I ran around half the neighborhood.
Are you serious? You followed
Yeah.
them for that long?
It's a worse fate than having to come home and telling your mother to drive you.
I don't know.
I do know.
Okay.
She would have killed me. Okay.
Oh yeah, let's get to the first talking
Yeah,
point. So talking about stupid school stories.
I know. Okay. do we
First thing
start
we've
with?
written down is the fact that Texas has filed legislation of them wanting to secede.
Whew. It's a hefty
It's very
one.
interesting. I don't think it'll happen, but it's very interesting that they want to secede.
I don't really understand their want for it, although I know they are practically independent. Like, they could be.
I mean, they were once.
Yeah, I just
It's
don't
been
understand the
13 years.
benefit, you know?
I don't know what they would benefit from being an independent country.
Taxes.
I think if they were to secede, then I think a lot of other states might.
Yeah,
'Cause-
I agree.
Then, because you remember, during the Civil War, it hasn't been put to rest that the secession is legal or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no one still knows if it's legal or not. But if
That's
Texas
interesting.
gets to secede, then that would determine that it's legal,
It opens up that gateway. Yeah.
which would be
Uh,
very interesting.
I don't
I think
think America
California
would
would-
let it happen, though.
I don't think so either.
It's like they're a very valuable asset. I believe they
Mhm.
have one of
Second-
our power grids or something.
I mean, so yeah, second biggest state in terms of population.
Yeah, we
That's a lot of people.
need them, basically. I mean,
And a lot of people are moving there. Like, Tesla's there now. That would be really bad.
it's one of the top 10, right? Move to states.
Yeah.
Maybe
Are we
even
in the
top 5. Yeah, we definitely are. Charleston is.
Yeah, because that's an important city nowadays.
It's a new hub, and then
it's growing.
I
Definitely.
know that is Houston, and apparently they're all moving south, Texas.
Oh, yeah. Have you heard of the Sun Belt?
Not much.
That's like us, Georgia, Alabama, all those places, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona. Everybody's moving down to the south because it's just nicer weather. Like, people just want to live here.
That's the only reason. It's not like economics.
I mean, economics and the fact that it's just nicer here.
It's just nicer. Well, coming from Illinois, I can say that is very factual. That weather's terrible year round.
Like, I heard something. Also, gas is apparently a lot cheaper here than it is in North Carolina. Like, I was watching this video where they were comparing North Carolina and South Carolina, and I looked at the comments, and a lot of people from North Carolina were saying that, like, those that lived on the border, they would just drive to South Carolina for gas and come back.
Wow.
It was that much. It was that much cheaper. That they just drive to South Carolina and come back.
That is bizarre. I remember when I was a kid, Illinois gas prices were as cheap as like 97 cents. And I know it's always fluctuating.
Jeez, what?
Yeah, I guess it's different for
Even
each
back
spot,
then?
but it's always been on the uprise. You know, it used to be extremely cheap.
I mean, yeah, that's actually crazy.
Just talking a little bit about that with my other friend, how he believes Biden is doing a terrible job and how gas prices are starting to spike, which honestly I don't know too much about. All I know is they spiked in 2010 or 2012 with Obama.
That's because the recession.
And the recession, which is understandable, you know, that just makes sense. But people are saying the gases are starting to spike again with Biden being elected, but I'd have to look more into that. Yeah. I believe it is. No. I think it's true. I just don't know what bills have been passed or anything to do.
Yeah.
Actually, with that.
Probably the Keystone Pipeline. Probably the fact that got stopped.
Yeah, that
entire
situation is.
That would have lowered gas prices a lot.
But now it just lowers the supply, so demand's now up
higher.
So, what are your takes on that again?
What? I think it lost a lot of jobs, right? But I heard an argument that it was all temporary jobs, and that the money they spent on the pipeline, they could have been spending making permanent jobs.
Yeah. Well, are more jobs going to come from a solution then?
Hopefully. Like, they said that they could have spent more jobs making natural gas, permanent natural gas, permanent, like, solar stuff, instead of spending it on temporary pipeline jobs. But I don't know. Because it was like 12,000 jobs or something like that.
Yeah, I know it was a very large number. And then that also led to a different argument, how it takes so much energy in mining to make the minerals, not to make, but to gather the minerals we need to make solar panels, and like how it's ends up not being worth it. Which you'd have to show me the numbers, just because that type of thing pays itself. You know, you just gotta let it sit for a while.
I don't know what solution I'm on for our energy.
Neither am I. I mean, nuclear seems good, but risky.
Nuclear is risky, yeah. I mean, you know, our state has like several nuclear power plants.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
it's interesting though. It's fascinating.
We obviously cannot stay with oil.
No.
It's a finite resource.
Finite, limited. Wars have been fought over it. It just simply needs to be replaced.
And if you've ever played the Fallout series,
yeah,
the entire reason any of that game happened is because of a war over oil. That's the only reason.
Great video game series, but golly, it makes you think like
that
is ever possible, which it totally is. It's just
Well, how did we? I just realized, how did we get here? Our last thing we talked about was our first talking point is Texas, and we got to oil.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't know.
Yeah, basically Texas kind of wants to secede, kind of not. All right.
Exactly.
Next one that I did the research on is a way that someone guesses or predicts the presidential elections, which is called the 13 Keys to the White House. If you've ever followed a presidential election heavily, you might have heard of this. I think this guy's name was Alan Licht something. Alan Lichtman.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's
yeah,
a genius.
Yes, he came up with these 13 keys that if you get 7 out of the 6 of them, then you win, basically.
Yeah, you're practically secured the election spot, and
which, so far, it's proven correct.
Except for, what was the case?
Al Gore and George W. Bush.
And that was like a wild card.
Because he did predict the popular vote correctly, but he didn't predict the electoral votes correctly.
Which
so that's the only one he's gotten wrong.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
He has a good track record so far. You want to talk a little bit about what the keys are?
Sure. I'll do the first 7. You can do the last ones.
Okay.
The first one is midterm gains, which is basically like, let's say right now, actually, the Democrats have control of the House right now. But in 2 years, you know, it's going to be another election cycle, and the Republicans are hoping to be able to win control back, which they probably will since they're only 5 away, and they've released a list of ones they're tracking and want to beat. So there's a pretty good chance that they will get the House back. Basically, if the Republicans get the House back, that's a key that they won. That's something they won. That's a key to the White House. No primary contest. This happened with Donald Trump. No other Republican contested him. It was just him alone running for the Republican Party.
Doesn't that always happen though?
Not always. It's just if the Democrats, someone that got elected, the Democrats didn't like them, then they can elect someone to go.
Oh, to hopefully beat the current
beat the incumbent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then next one, incumbent seeking re-election. Almost always happens. I wonder when the last time the incumbent didn't seek re-election.
Yeah, I mean, if to sit on that chair for 4 years and then not
like,
win it again.
I don't want it again.
Must have been a hard 4 years.
I know it is the hardest job in the world, and like you are super lonely during it, but still, it's a lot of power.
But even the people who have really messed up, I think, have run again, just in case, you know.
Like Herbert Hoover.
Yeah, he lost by an incredible margin.
Insane amount, but he did run again.
But he still ran, which is, I guess it's like a last glimmer of hope type of thing.
Yeah.
Which is sad, but
yeah.
I mean, you tried.
The next one is strong short-term economy. You know, with coronavirus, that obviously did not go in Trump's favor.
Definitely not.
Yeah. I think what Alan Lichtman said in his video about it, he said, in the video I watched where he talked in it, he said the main reason Trump didn't win is because coronavirus. Trump would have gotten that key if coronavirus didn't happen. So Trump probably would have won if coronavirus didn't happen. Strong long-term economy is the next one. Trump actually had a pretty strong economy during his presidency. It wasn't insane, but it didn't go down really. It was just consistent and good. Major policy change. Trump did a lot of policies change with foreign policy, like backing out the Paris trade agreement. You know, how much he was against China, how he like was trying to make America an independent manufacturer again, which I respect personally.
You just seem very isolated under his policies.
I don't agree with isolationism, but I think America should manufacture more of our own goods.
Yes. For the most part.
Then what was another policy change? North Korea stuff.
Oh, that most definitely. Yeah.
And then, of course, the border wall.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's the first.
He had a few scandals, man.
Yeah. You can take the rest.
Okay, so no social unrest.
That's definitely not true.
definitely did not happen.
There's a lot, even in the
There
final
is-
time, Black Lives Matter. That happened like multiple times in his presidency, didn't it?
It did. I'd say that probably turned a lot of people against him.
Mm-hmm.
If they weren't
Definitely.
before, they definitely were afterwards. No scandal.
I don't know if you remember the rape allegations near the start of his presidency.
The grab them by the P-word
Mhm.
stuff. Yeah,
And then
that
there's
is
the
far away. Would that affect voters' minds? I guess it still would.
some of them definitely.
Yeah.
And then there's the Russia stuff at the start of the presidency.
Oh yeah, Is that where his son was colluding with him, or just Russia
No,
helped him with the
that was-
election?
That was just the Russia hacked the election.
Yeah. So I guess he's not looking too good on those two. The
Mm-mm.
no foreign military failure. Technically, yeah, he didn't have
There was
any.
no big failure
Yeah.
military wise.
4 years we haven't done much militarily. Major
Except for
foreign.
near the
Go ahead.
continue. Well, near the end. Remember start of 2020, the hit bombing of the Iranian general or whatever. How they did the missile strike and killed that dude, and the World War III jokes.
Oh, I do. Honestly, I don't remember much of that, but I do know
Yeah.
it was very significant.
Yeah, I don't even know either what that would fall under, a failure or a success. It really
I don't
seemed
know
like
enough
people were,
about the story, but
I mean, he had killed a lot of people, a lot of Americans. The guy.
yeah, I think for US that'd probably rank under a success.
Yeah, but not a major one,
Yeah,
So-
definitely not.
which is the next key.
Yeah, that's major foreign/military success. I
Which
probably
No.
not. No.
no major successes, but no major failures either.
Charismatic incumbent? Nope. Well,
Well, this is what Alan Lichtman said. He said Trump is a good showman.
definitely.
He knows how to rally a crowd.
The Capitol would not have happened without his influence.
If Trump did not influence his people to come there, that would not have happened.
Yeah, he is very good at getting people, getting crowds. We were looking at the picture of his inauguration
Oh, yeah.
day versus Obama's. I'll put
Literally
that on the
the
screen
most
now.
people ever there. Yeah.
It was so funny how he just had it packed, and I
Very
mean, he
much
didn't
so.
even win the popular vote, but regardless, he draws people. So then the other one
Definitely.
is uncharismatic challenger.
True.
I'd say so. Biden is not known for his
His charisma.
fantabulous humor and charisma.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting at the correspondence dinner because usually the president goes up there and tells some jokes.
Yeah, dude. Golly, Obama was killer at that kind of stuff.
Trump didn't even show up to any of them, so
Really?
yeah,
I think Biden will.
I think he'll come.
Yeah, that's
But-
gross.
Will he?
Sorry.
Will he make any good jokes?
Maybe not. Biden has an awkward sort of charm.
Like, remember when he
No.
played Despacito at his rally?
Yeah, that video is amazing.
Oh, it's so good.
He's great. All right. And then false key. No, that's it.
That's all. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. So he got
Yeah.
Donald Trump. He got Joe Biden as both the winners. He was right on all this somehow.
Mm-hmm.
It is so impressive how this
Very much so.
formula just holds true.
Yeah, very much.
Genius of a man. I only wish I came up with it before he did. So
Acting like you could have come up with that, dude.
I would have never, ever came up with that. You
You
had
if you came up with this, like,
yeah.
that would be insane.
I probably wouldn't be talking on the Hooligans podcast.
True.
Just kidding. We're fantastic. #1 growing podcast in all of Idaho.
All of Idaho.
It is
We don't have a
fantastic.
single viewer in Idaho.
I think we have one in Texas, right?
Yeah, we do. It says we have one in Texas.
Boom. We like you, Texas. Don't succeed. Unless you want It's up to
Unless
you
you want
guys.
to. Yeah, go ahead. I won't stop you.
For real. Alright. Let's talk about this next point. Very fascinating to me.
Minimum wage raise.
Yes. This is a hot topic. A very triggerous topic for many people. Because it affects,
Everyone.
everyone.
Every single person's affected by this.
Either directly or indirectly. I know I am affected directly because I make 50 cents. I make $8 an hour, right? And their
That's
proposition is to raise it to
15.
15. So I
Which-
might get fired.
Very polarizing subject.
It definitely is. I feel like a lot of people either are strongly for or strongly against, and somehow
There's not a lot of
I'm
people
at
in the
the
middle
crossroads. Yeah,
There's not a lot of people in the middle ground, but
there's not.
because I've heard both sides of the argument.
And both sides make
Yeah.
very good, valid points.
Yeah, we'll start with the far right side.
Sure.
They are very much against it because they think that you raise the minimum wage, corporations are gonna have to fire people so that they can afford the minimum wage, and that this will actually kill small business because small businesses want people to pay their employees $15 an hour.
Mm-hmm. So,
So they're very much against it. And you go on the left side, they're very much for it because it's been proven statistically that the minimum wage should be going up with inflation every couple of years. And it's been 11 years since the minimum wage has been increased, which is the longest ever in American history.
mm-hmm. It's terrible.
But-
I think the graph showed that when it was calculated with inflation, it should be about, what was it, $20 currently?
I don't know, I didn't see that graph, but
I'll have to try to find that. But yeah, I believe with inflation, and if it was steadily rising, it should be way higher than at least what it is today. And this will be the biggest jump in pay if it goes through, that is. So
definitely.
something to look out for.
So the old record for longest time without increasing the minimum wage, it went up by 75 cents after 10 years.
It's like people just forgot about it. You know?
I mean, yeah. But then they did 2 more minimum wage increases 2 years after,
Mhm,
which it's very interesting.
definitely. Well,
I don't
what's
know.
your stance on it? Because I'm sort of in the crossroads, but I'm also leaning more towards we should up it.
I think there needs to be a compromise between the
Agreed.
Republicans and the Democrats. I think it should go up to 10.
10?
At least make a start, make a dent. in
Yeah.
The non-livable. Wait, it's because let's be honest, no one can live off $7.25.
No, it's definitely impossible. Most
impossible.
people who work these types of jobs have to have 2 or 3 to.
It's impossible to live off $7.25 an hour
It is.
with tax.
With tax, you have no shot. So
Yeah.
I would like to see come out of this a hopeful pay increase, but instead of it being right away, possibly a deal to have it steadily increase with inflation starting as soon as the bill passed. And maybe what you said, starting off on that $10 mark and then throughout the years, because it sort of feels like it's just been a neglected issue.
Definitely. Like if we look back to 1997, it's been or 2007. They increased the minimum wage to $5.85. 75 cents an increase? Are you kidding? That's barely anything. But then a year later, they increased it to $6.55. Then a year later, they increased it to $7.25. So they acknowledged that it needs to be increased, and then they kept doing it a couple years after. So why don't we copy that? Increase it to 10. Then next year, increase it to like 12. And the year after, increase it to 13.
Because the
And then
thing
keep
is,
going.
as our economics grow, so should what we pay our workers. The reason it's so top heavy in that all these people have billions of dollars is because
Because they don't pay their workers.
they simply don't pay their workers. It's not that they can't afford it. It's been proven that they can, and their company would do just fine. It's just...
But it's small business. That's the Republicans' issue.
I understand the
says-
small businesses, but, like, it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we're going to change as an economy, as a nation, we have to move forward with
I
paying our
saw,
people.
yeah, and I saw an argument against. It said the issues killing small businesses isn't the minimum wage increase. It's the fact that just Americans are not using small businesses as much as they used to.
Hmm.
It's just that simple fact that, whenever I go to look for food or something, I'm gonna be honest, I don't look at the small businesses around in my town. I don't look at there. I look at the national fast food, like Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Wendy's. I don't when I go to buy food, I just don't go to look at like Eva's in downtown Somerville.
Yeah, and no one can blame you because it's a competitive market and they
Mhm.
have the best prices. That's just
Yeah.
simply how capitalism works. And as hard
Mhm.
as it is to be sympathetic for these small businesses, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know how to phrase this without sounding like a dickhead, but it's the system. If you're gonna
Yeah.
play in it, you better play to win, or
Well,
else don't play.
Bellocina's is kind of a small business.
We
Like
have
it's
about
not
3 stores.
it's not nationwide.
It's definitely not, but I mean, last Super Bowl we pulled 6,000.
Oh. I mean,
Like, we're doing
I think-
fine. I know the
I think-
workers would make $15 an hour if we had to.
I think your company would be able to survive pretty
Yeah.
well by paying all of you guys $15 an hour.
It's hard
It's
to
just they don't-
define small business because that has to be in a certain income margin, because Tesla
I don't know
used to be a
the,
small business.
I don't know the definition of small business
Yeah.
or like the income margin of it.
Neither do I. Because I don't want to
Well, I
rule them
think-
out, they're important. It's just
Hmm.
slippery slope.
I think Bellocina's would be considered a small business.
Possibly. I think you might be right, yeah. So,
Like my dad, he runs a small business. To be fair, he doesn't have any employees, so he doesn't have to worry about this.
yeah.
Besides me, but I'm his son, so it doesn't matter. I don't work officially. I don't get,
Tax fraud?
foster.
Yo. This guy.
It's not like I applied or something.
Oh, I know. It'd be
It's
weird
just
if
helping
you
my father
get
and
an
being
interview.
like, hey, let me help you or thank you for your services, kind of something like that. That's like, it's not viewed as like, I go in, I have a schedule, I don't clock in,
You
clock
don't
out.
clock in? I love doing that.
Really?
Somebody clocked me out the other day. It's a different story.
Okay. But yeah, it's very controversial issue. Minimum wage is.
Yeah, so I guess if you're watching this, if you feel like sharing your opinion, we'd love to hear it.
Yes, I would love to hear other people's opinion on this.
I know everybody has so many takes, and it's hard to find other like-minded people at our age who are
Mhm.
interested this deeply into money.
Yeah, like we have a friend who he will like kind of watch politics, but he's not super interested in it.
Hmm.
Like we are. He just kind of like looks at the stories and doesn't care that much, but he looks at it a little bit.
I guess this recent spark in appreciation for it is
Yeah.
just like learning how much it actually affects our day-to-day life
Mm-hmm.
and how we
Because-
are built around politics.
Everyone thinks, oh, why should I care that we have a new president? It's not going to affect my day-to-day life.
Yeah,
But
well,
It might. There's a,
it already has.
yeah, like, oh my gosh.
The-
Especially with COVID. Now it's especially affecting your day-to-day life, especially if you're an adult.
Oh, it definitely is. I mean, this whole minimum wage thing will affect even kids in the future. It will affect
Mhm.
generations
This minimum
to
wage
come.
thing will affect everybody who has a job,
Exactly.
which is crazy.
I know, it's weird to think. I hope that bill, I mean, I'm gonna pay very close attention to it. I want to see it be a masterpiece of literature. I want it to be perfect. I want there to be compromise in an ideal world, of course, but
Yes.
I think it's gonna go great.
I hope so. It hasn't even been. I don't think it's even been brought up to the House yet.
Really?
Oh, wait, actually, I think the first revision was released of the bill. The
Really?
first version. Yeah.
Well, we'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah, let me look at
That's
this. Hold
awesome.
on. I think because Democrats got, or like some Democrats are mad at the Democrats for not pushing it as far as people wanted them to.
Hmm.
Oh, Canada added Proud Boys to their terrorist list. That's something interesting.
Canada did.
Yeah.
So what's the separation there? Proud Boys are not directly Trump supporters. I guess you can't label all Trump supporters, but like you know how there's this. I don't want to say this word because we talk about it too much, but QAnon. QAnon and Proud Boys are two separate groups, though, right?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So the Democrat Party came to the table with the minimum wage bill, and it came with a compromise.
Really?
And apparently, it's a horrible compromise.
I'm sure there's many revisions to come then. I wonder how many times they rewrite that type of stuff.
Okay, the thing is that these people are mad because they're trying to be bipartisan.
Yeah.
Because they're saying, I'm going to scroll on the comments. Says, remember, they have no excuses now. They have the House, Senate, and White House. Like, okay, why don't the whole point of the federal government is to work for the people.
I was gonna say this isn't.
That's why we compromise for the good of America.
I always hate when that happens, where it seems like people's prides and egos get the best of them in our government. It's like those people shouldn't be the people elected to represent us because they don't share our ego. That issue is always so dumb. I like to think those people are above that, but
yeah,
I know a lot of them are, but there's always some.
I saw someone says perhaps if politicians are paid $7 an hour,
they might care then. I mean, I'll tell you what. I don't work nearly enough to be considered a full-time job, but from what I make, from what my bank statement is every week, I couldn't even come close to affording a fucking apartment even.
Oh yeah.
So whether or not this bill is compromised, I hope it has immediate action.
Yeah.
At least for the time being.
How do you enforce that though?
How do you enforce that?
How do you enforce a minimum wage?
Just IRS, bro.
True.
They'd be like, we're shutting down your business.
show me how much you're paying your people.
I know all the major corporations would immediately follow it. Just because it's not like McDonald's can't afford. It's not like Walgreens can afford. They have monopolies. But
definitely.
For all the smaller businesses, it would be, I guess, harder for them to check up on it. Just because there's always that. I know a place here in Somerville that pays their workers in cash sometimes, you know? It's not always like on the books.
Oh, like remember how Chris told us that his the person he worked for paid him in Cash App so that they wouldn't have to pay taxes.
Which is
like
totally tax fraud, I think.
100%.
I guess you can make the argument that they're just paying for a service, but like it's a continual shit. You can make a loophole there, but still.
100%. This is completely off topic and not even on our thing, but I just looked this up. Kanye West got on the ballot for 12 states. I was curious how many states he got on the ballot for. But he got on the ballot in Arkansas, Colorado, Idaho, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Minnesota, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Utah, and Vermont.
Wow.
He got 60,000 votes.
60,000. That is...
Or not even like doing a campaign. He got 60,000.
I mean, with
okay, think about it though. In only 12 states, none of them big states.
Yeah.
And he didn't even run a campaign, basically.
That's impressive. Last time he did try to run a campaign, though, it went terribly. So.
True.
You remember his breakdown?
Yep.
Peter Russo moment. Oh shit! Spoilers.
Oh.
Nobody heard that.
So let's go on to the next thing, which we did some research on actually. This took us a little bit of time. We did some crazy math, right?
Rough calculations. This might not be right, but we're pretty sure it's right.
It's not completely right. It's
It's not.
in the area.
Oh,
So we did some research, and 26% of the population didn't vote in the most recent election.
which is a huge problem.
It's not. Here's the thing, though, is that it's America. You're allowed to not vote.
You are, but I don't think it's a problem in that standard. I think it's a problem that whoever finds out how to gain these voters is a guaranteed win.
True. Like 26% of America is a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that actual figure is, but we took out all dependents, so this isn't including kids or elder or all
Yeah,
of
the
those
only
people.
thing we didn't do is do the math on like people who legally are not allowed to vote because crimes they committed or anything like that.
That would be, yeah, far too much.
That we didn't do any research on that, but we did take out kids. So yeah, because with kids, yeah, it's 50% of the population, which obviously is not the correct number.
So it's just crazy to me that people feel that two candidates simply are enough and that they don't want either of them to represent their views.
It would make such a
get
statement
their vote.
to vote for an independent, even if they don't win.
I know,
If
it
an
would set the
independent got
precedent.
If an independent got a 26%, that word's hard. If an independent got 26% of the vote, people would be like, huh?
Yeah,
What just happened?
for real. Shows that it's possible.
Yeah. Because, like, well, the thing is, if you're an independent, you have to get at least 15% of the population, or like 15% approval rating, I think, to get on the debate.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And an independent to even get on a debate would be insane.
That would be, yeah, very newsworthy. Very unheard of.
I don't know the last time that an independent has got on a debate.
I guess when the one guy got 1 million, 1.2 or whatever.
When some dude got 1 million this election.
Did he? Oh, was it?
Yeah,
I have no clue.
Gary Johnson, I think. He
That's
did.
right.
Or was it Joe Jorgensen or whatever her name was?
Can I bring up something to the table that I can pick
Yes,
your
you
brain
can.
on? Alright, so I was talking a lot with my stepdad a couple nights ago. He doesn't believe, he was talking with his boss. Anyways, long story short, there's a big main reason why the two-party system is more beneficial than people think. Although I'm all for independence and I think it's great, he said if there's a three-way tie race, basically, and somehow one person pulls ahead, that means, let's say if it's perfect, right? That means 34% of the population wanted that person to win.
Mm-hmm.
That means the other 65% or 66, whatever, did not want that person. Where if it's only two people running, only 50% of the people didn't want that person. You see how there's like that issue of that person is technically unrepresentative of America? In a sense.
Yeah.
So I'm
But-
kind of on the fence with that, but you explain your view.
The thing about America is freedom of choice.
Yes.
You get to choose who you want to vote for.
Oh yeah,
know-
I'm just saying don't. You should always vote. It's just
Yeah.
scary.
Down ballot, like, those people are still people that want to be the United States, the president of the United States. And the thing is, it's still, the majority still won. I know it's not like a 50% majority like it is now, but the majority of the people still voted for this person.
That's true. That's also a valid argument. Either way, it's hard to look at,
Okay. That is...
right? It kind of throws the wrench in the machine just because that large amount of people would be upset. They'd feel unheard, even though it's not like it's not a fair system. It is a fair
completely
system.
fair. It's still...
It just feels wrong in a way. I can imagine
Yeah.
myself on both sides, you know, and from the other side looking in, it's like, wow, that's kind of rigged, you know, oopsie, I'm a Trump supporter now. you know? So,
I mean, multiple party system. I actually was gonna watch a YouTube video on this that keeps getting recommended to me. It's like, what if America's a multi-party system?
really.
Like where it doesn't matter if you get a certain amount of votes, you can just be on the ballot everywhere. Doesn't matter what. I think, and it had like the thumbnail had like 20 different political parties in it.
Dang. That would be kind of cool.
But the thing is, like, that would mean like a majority of, if a party gets 12% of the vote, that's a majority.
And the rest would just fail, which
is what we're talking about with this, with three parties. Gosh, I haven't even thought about that at all.
I know.
Wow.
And then can I throw another wrench in it?
Yes.
So I won't tell it to his face, but I think my stepdad's a very smart individual, and we talk a lot about random stuff. So he even brought up the point that he hates the Electoral College. He thinks it's a terrible system, and he thinks every vote should count for one. And basically, what he broke it down to is the reason it was made is because back when, 13 colonies and whatnot, and then even a little bit past that, it was physically impossible to gather each individual vote.
Yeah.
So even though it could have been 1-to-1, it's just they were delivering mail on ponies, That is no longer an issue in today. We have the means to count each and everybody's vote. And it's weird to think that Hillary won the popular vote. People wanted Hillary, but the Electoral College won Donald Trump.
I'll explain. Never mind. But the thing is, every state is different. It's 50 different elections going on. Technically, because every state has their election in which and then the electorates represent what their constituents wanted.
Yes, he thinks that's a bad idea. He thinks, why is one vote not counting as one vote? Because you know how when we were looking at states broken up into districts the other day? Some of these states are, what do you call it? They're just one district.
Yeah, it's called like Vermont at large.
So yeah, Vermont at large is a thing where you can look up in any other place that has major cities. Even South Carolina, for example, was broken up to 5 or 6 different districts.
7. Yeah, 7 districts.
So why would you do that when it's so unbalanced in the sense, why give Vermont the chance even? Like, nobody lives there. I know that sounds wrong, but like, it's very hard to phrase this. Why would their votes count any more than the people who live in cities? There's simply more people who live urban rather than rural. So to try to make it a balanced game is a losing battle, just because there are more people in these centralized locations, and why would their vote count less, and why would Vermont count more? It should just be, yeah. So I don't know. That's just something to think about.
Oh, okay. Because like states like Montana, that's 3 electoral votes. No one cares.
Yeah. Right?
No one cares if you lose or win Montana. So you're basically saying that it kind of is. That would. Oh my gosh. Okay. If you got rid of the Electoral College, that would make presidents have to work so much harder during campaigns.
It would, and it'd mean the presidency is a fairer win. There's no federal involvement. It's just what the people want, and it's what they decide. It's pure democracy.
But America's not a pure democracy.
I know.
That's the thing.
And that's where it's like, in an ideal world, no one would get rid of this. But I mean, Hillary won by 6 million or something. Biden won by 11 million, I think, in terms of populist votes.
It's so hard because presidential elections now, they only visit the states that they are close in, like Iowa. They both into Iowa because it's becoming more and more of a swing state, just like North Carolina, just like South Carolina, honestly. South Carolina is becoming a lean state as
Somehow.
more and more Democrats move here.
Mm-hmm.
It's becoming a lean state, it's been a Republican stronghold for the longest time, like, in existence. Last time we voted Republican was Jimmy Carter.
Really?
Or not Republican, Democrat. Last time we voted Democrat was Jimmy Carter.
And it just goes to show, it's like, why would we not want just the populace to vote? Because if the majority of South Carolina is saying Republican, then let just each person vote that way and let it represent that in the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why we need this convoluted way of deciding who sits on the chair.
The thing is that it usually is. The popular vote usually does represent the Electoral College. It doesn't. Only in 2 elections in modern history has it been the popular vote and electoral votes didn't match.
But that's where it becomes the issue, because as we've been looking at these maps with last week, you can see clearly that elections are changing. There used to be more landslide, and not in all cases, but now more and more we tend to see it becoming very close.
Yeah.
So, although it might not be a pending issue technically now, I think it will be within like a decade.
Yeah.
So, I know, I just threw a lot out of nowhere. I didn't tell you about any of that. So,
were you waiting to tell me about that so I'd be surprised?
Yeah. Surprise. I'm still on the fence about all these issues. I don't think I have enough information to decide. I haven't seen both arguments, but so there's my 2 cents in the matter. Tell us what yours are.
I don't know. I'm really on the fence about that too, because, you know, the fact making it majority or populist vote only makes sense.
And on paper, at least.
On paper, it makes a lot of sense. But it would make election fraud a lot easier if you think about it.
I mean, yeah, I could see that.
Because right now, in election fraud, to do it, you have to target specific states, and, you know, you can, and then, like, people who are watching it can watch these specific states to make sure that, you know, there's not a specific state that's overflowing with votes that's gonna flip. Kind of like, I mean, I don't believe in the election fraud, but remember people were talking about Wisconsin, how, like, it was Republican, and boop, Democrats won it randomly.
Yep.
I mean, I know that was all mail-in votes, but still, that's what people's argument were.
I get that standpoint. I totally do.
I don't know. I'd have to do more research, like you said.
Me as well. I think
I don't know
in
if we
that
can
scenario, though, yeah, definitely not. But off the book, then, I think if that were to happen, along with this new system, should be implemented better systems to check fraud, to make sure that it doesn't get to that point, hopefully.
That's what Donald Trump is trying to do, in a way, because his big thing now that he's pushing is getting rid of election fraud. But the thing is that he's only doing it when it benefits him. He should have been pushing it the entire time.
Yeah. I know, if he was going to play that angle, I think he should have started at least a couple months before. Like, he started too late, and that might have even caused his
He started after
defeat.
he lost.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, oh, now that I've lost, it's like, even
Now
if
that
you're
I've lost,
right,
election fraud's a real issue.
yeah, even if you're right in that scenario, you just look like a sore loser. You have to worry about the perception of all that, which he failed to.
He very much did.
Overlooked. Well, all right, those are great talking points. You want to move on?
Yes. Now this is something that I've seen. I don't know, Charlie. I didn't even tell Charlie about this, honestly. But there has been evidence that the CDC or World Health Organization found that COVID is possibly started 2 months earlier than recently than actually identified.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even
I
read
haven't.
that. That is
Yeah,
bizarre.
I haven't done a lot of research into it, but I don't think they have a lot. But that it's just something that they've looked into.
So that could come
Need to
out to
look
be a
this up right now.
bigger thing than it possibly is right
Yes.
now.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, we're on the forefront. What's poppin'?
What's poppin'?
So
Yeah, we are now doing breaking news.
yeah. Breaking news: Trump lied. More importantly, it's the
Well,
bad.
they're not saying that Trump lied about
Yeah.
it. They're saying that China lied about it.
China lied about it. Well, I don't see that as not a possibility.
Yeah, it started. China probably lied about it started 6 months before it actually started.
Oh my gosh.
I'm kidding, but that would be a thing. I just
That
kind of wanted
would
to say
be
that, put that out
crazy.
there, because
Yeah.
I haven't done any research on it, and I think it's a very interesting thing.
Well, I mean, there's much speculation that they lied about their numbers, so if that
Oh, yeah.
happens, they
I
probably
remember
did.
one thing Trump said, and in the first debate that like actually made sense, was when Biden was criticizing him on, getting numbers from like Russia, China, and North Korea.
Mm.
And Trump was like, well, they're very hard people to get numbers from, or to get accurate numbers from. You haven't worked with them, you wouldn't know.
That's true. He is now, so
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Trump was like, it's very hard to get truth from them.
I totally believe that. I mean, the three
Yeah, me too.
superpowers. I can only imagine the clash.
This is a topic I'm actually a lot more interested in. Is that the Republican Party could possibly be splitting up into two separate parties, possibly even three.
Which I don't know much about.
Oh, I've done research on
So,
this one.
you inform us.
So, I'll start with the anti-Trump party. There's a group of Republicans that, absolutely hated Trump, like people like Mitt Romney, very moderate Republicans. They want things to go back to the old way, and they're considering creating their own party. Now, it was reported that I think it was like 100 something of them got into a Zoom call and talked about it.
Do a Zoom call?
Yeah,
Oh man, it's very secure.
I know, right? But it was being led by a guy named Evan McMullen. Now, you probably haven't heard of him,
I
but
have not.
he's from the 2016 election. To give reference, in 2016, he got 20% of the votes in Utah. So
Interesting.
he was a moderate Republican that didn't like Trump as the nominee, and so he ran as an independent and got 20% of the vote in Utah. And I think he got I think he only got he wasn't in a lot of states, so he only got 0.5 in the entire country.
But he's known.
But he is known, yes.
Okay.
And yeah, there's I think just a big group of them that are considering splitting off. And another thing I saw was that instead of splitting off, becoming their own little group inside of the Republican Party, instead of just completely leaving. How there's caucuses in the Congress? Maybe starting their own caucus of just their little group.
Is that allowed? Yes.
Yes, that's very much allowed.
That would be interesting to see how that plays out, because
Yeah,
who would have
I think-
control of them,
I think it's a very large possibility.
So you think that's
Because-
a higher possibility rather than them disaligning themselves with the Republican Party?
I think so. I think it'd be
Okay.
easier just to create their own caucus than just completely leave their party.
Definitely.
But they talked about if they created their own party that they might put up presidential candidates
really.
and try and take the vote away from Trump people.
Yeah. I mean, if they can pitch it to the right people, I don't know if
And
people.
the video I watched, it showed if 7% of the vote that went to the GOP in Texas went to a third party, the Democrats would have won Texas.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
So,
less
7%.
Wow.
7% sounds little,
What?
but it's very, very big.
There's no way.
In an election, that is very, very big.
Hold on, let me get this straight. So, basically, what you're saying, it's not necessarily about winning the vote. It's about taking away the votes.
It's not necessarily about winning the vote. It's about taking away the votes from Trump people.
So it's creating a third option
But the thing is, it would
and
also
C.
take away votes from the Democrat because there's statistics that show a lot of old Republicans switched to independent or registered themselves as independent or Democratic in the 2020 election. And
That's
if they
surprising.
saw that third option, they would probably switch to that.
Yeah.
And then that would take away votes. Yeah, that would take away probably a couple million votes from Joe Biden that he got this year. Which would be very big.
That goes back to the multi-party system that we were talking about. That would be
very much
incredible to watch play out.
Oh, 100%. I would love to see news stories about that.
I mean, I'm just thinking, do they even have a fighting chance?
Maybe in the future, but not in 2024.
I'd have to agree with you there.
I think it would take a good amount of years to build.
Yeah. They have to build up that faith, Like,
because people probably see a new party, that's probably going to shut down soon.
Yeah, it always has been Republican or Democrat, and anything new is scary, foreign.
I mean, didn't you say that on the last podcast episode, or was that in private where you said Americans, if they see any color that's not red or blue, they shy away from it and get scared?
I might have. I don't know. America's very xenophobic.
You're not wrong, though.
So, no, I'm not sure. But regardless, that is super interesting, man.
And then there's talk of the Trump people wanting to split away from the Republican Party and wanting to create the Trump Party.
Woo-wee! The Trump Party? What do you mean by that? How do you figure?
I think they really want to name it the Trump Party. The group of Republicans that are pro-Trump.
There's not that many anymore.
Yes, there are.
There's still a lot, but how many are there? If you had
60% of Republican voters are
60%?
pro-Trump. 60%.
Well, when you say 60% are pro-Trump, isn't there a difference between being pro-Trump and willing to leave your party to join a party named Trump?
Really, they're Trump supporters.
But I understand, but there's diehard Trump supporters, and then there's Republicans.
That's true. You're right. I don't know, man. But 60% of the party said they would want a second term for Trump. So
that is
crazy.
Insane.
And then related to the anti-Trump stuff, I don't know if any of you all remember Nikki Haley. No, we remember her because she was our governor.
Nikki Haley.
Yeah, and then she became the United States ambassador. She recently came out on an interview. I forgot with who. I forgot who she was in an interview with, but she said, let me get the quote up exactly.
She's great.
She said, "We should not have followed Trump." She said, "He went down a path he shouldn't have, and we shouldn't have followed him, and we shouldn't have listened to him. We can't let that ever happen again." So, Nikki Haley, who is a Republican, but I would think she's probably one of the more moderate Republicans out there.
Definitely. I agree.
She did nothing but good for South Carolina.
Yeah, she was that's why I think that statement is so impactful, because she's a well-respected woman.
Oh, she's super well respected in South Carolina. That could totally sway South Carolina away from Trump.
Her voice has sway, and to come out and say we made a grave mistake,
And then she talked about whenever he condemned to fight Mike Pence. She said, "When I tell you I'm angry, it's an understatement. I'm so disappointed in the fact that despite the loyalty and friendship he had with Mike Pence, that he would do that to him." And then she said that the president believes he is following his oath of office by challenging the election results, adding, "There's nothing that you're ever going to do that's going to make him feel like he legitimately lost the election."
Yeah, that's very true.
Which is crazy that he's that stubborn of a dude.
I mean, when she was talking about upholding the office and the oath, or I forget the exact thing you said, it's he's no longer doing what's best for the American people.
I agree.
He's doing his own agenda, his interest. So for her to say that is just wow. That's awesome.
She has a lot of influence.
Definitely. She was fantastic when she was with South Carolina. I don't remember much, but I know I don't remember anybody hating her. That's a more important part. So good news though. That's great.
Yes.
All right. let's move
I would
on.
like to skip the one after that. You know, it's not really big news.
Gotcha.
You can go on to the one you brought up that you were very excited to talk to me about.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I know we talk about him a lot. Our favorite, our former president, Mr. Trump. He's an orange, and he's great. Let's talk about him. Basically, people are trying to make the argument, mainly my friend, and I would like to get some input from you, as well as any viewers who'd like to participate. Impeaching Trump is wrong, or not lawful, basically, because he's currently a private citizen. And this probably won't be that big. He didn't understand my point and my stance, which was, it's not that impeaching him as a private citizen, it's that he held the most powerful position and is now a private citizen. He was impeached during his power, and now that he has none, it still carries over. And he believes that's wrong, because if you're going to set the precedent of impeaching a private citizen, who's to say they won't impeach somebody who's planning to run for an office someday? You know, and I was like, I tried to explain to him, like, that will never happen. That's not possible.
Yeah, because there's a difference. Okay, the impeachment drafts went into the House during his presidency.
Yeah.
And they got passed during his presidency.
You can make the argument that if they were passed afterwards, that's one thing, you know?
Yeah. I think if you think about it like this, if delays in government, like setting dates for government for the Senate to meet, then it would have gotten talked about way before you left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, if it didn't take them till February for the Senate to meet and talk about this, then this would have been passed a long time ago.
Would have already been a done deal.
They're not passed, but it would have been talked about.
Exactly.
Would have been decided.
So,
yeah.
I mean, what do you think? Is this impeaching a private citizen, or is this impeaching a former president?
This is impeaching a former president who they believe has incited a riot, and they don't want him to run again.
Yeah, which is exactly where I stand. I mean, I don't know if anybody else, I think the majority of people would stand with us on that point. I just want to bring it up because I think it's interesting how, in a way, you can make the argument, and I'm sure his lawyers will make that argument.
I'm sure they will.
But I don't know if it will go smooth just because he committed a crime, you know? Or at least that's what we're here to figure out. So, there's that.
I think it's a very interesting conversation.
It is. I don't think we have enough information until more of this unfolds.
They are on day 4 of the trial.
They are. How's it going so far?
People are getting tired.
Already?
They think that it's not going to get passed just because the trial's losing steam, and that, you know, people are just getting tired and bored of it.
It's a weird issue to get bored of.
Right.
It's another 4 years. You can't sit down for a week. I could do that for 2 months.
I know.
Fucking sleep in the courtroom.
Now, this next one is breaking news, pretty much. Like, CNN released an article about it 5 hours ago.
I know nothing about this, dude. I'm excited.
Oh, I know. So, the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, I think that's how you say it.
Cuomo! I love that name.
He's messed up badly. And it's so bad. This is what it says. Andrew Cuomo's administration knowingly undercounted deaths among nursing home residents during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in the state. Cuomo's administration undercounted deaths among nursing home residents by as much as 50%.
50%?
50%.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's so bad.
So, hold on. How much you know about this story? Was this under direct influence from him?
Yes, direct influence from him.
All right. So that's pretty bad. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's really bad.
What is the purpose of hiding those numbers?
I'm trying to figure that out right now. It says, oh my gosh,
I guess he didn't want to look as bad as the other states, but even
That's
then, America
not-
already looks pretty bad.
It says, according to a source who participated in the call, DeRosa said the administration essentially froze because it wasn't sure what information it was going to turn over to the DOJ and didn't want whatever was told the lawmakers in response to the State Joint Committee hearing inquiries to be used against it in any way.
Wow.
I don't really know. Okay, so this is basically what it says. It says that the reason the Cuomo administration didn't release the full details of deaths in nursing homes to state legislators is because they were concerned about how that data might be used against them, politically speaking, if it fell into the hands of the Trump administration.
That is outrageous.
That's really, really bad.
That is so irresponsible.
That's the definition of putting your political gains above your people's lives.
Exactly. It should not come down to elections. It is all about getting those numbers out so the government can respond accordingly.
Yeah.
How dare they, man?
It's just really bad.
Wow. I wonder how many people are actually involved in this and
I have no idea.
what's going to come out of this. This was recent, you said?
Very recent. Like today, the news came out.
I guess we'll see. This following week will be very interesting for him. I bet he's on full
Very
damage
much.
control.
Well, this November is his would be the time that he runs for his fourth term as governor.
Really?
Yeah.
So I guess this all backfired. He is. If I had
Very
to,
much backfired.
if I was
Because
going to
the
guess,
point of
he's
him
not going to
doing
be.
The point of him doing it was so that he would get reelected.
Yeah.
And now it's gonna completely backfire on him, and he's not gonna be reelected.
It's weird to make it the COVID deaths as if that's directly correlated to you. I mean, in a sense it is, but I don't think that would have swayed the elections for you as much as
They didn't want
People use-
Trump calling them murderers for. Yeah.
he's
Wait,
got the
hold on.
wrong
Let me
people.
watch the
Trump
clip
didn't do
real
much. Go for it.
I'm trying. It's not loading. Pog.
Buggers.
It's the title is Cuomo callously addresses COVID nursing home report. Who cares?
Wait, what?
He said we're below the national average of deaths in nursing homes, but who cares?
But who cares? Wow.
And he said we're only about 28% of deaths in nursing homes. Literally lying to the face, or lying to America's face.
That is a bad idea to do. He is in hot water. I haven't ever even heard of him. So that's the New York governor. Wow.
Governor of New York, yeah.
Well, I'm sure they're not too happy. And that's a large amount of people
Oh,
to not be
okay.
happy.
So, hold on. Assemblyman Ron Kim, who took part in the call, said that DeRosa's remarks sounded like they admitted that they were trying to dodge having any incriminating evidence that might put the administration or the health department in further trouble with the Department of Justice. So did they do something illegal?
I'm sure hiding those numbers must be illegal.
But,
No.
No. It's saying that's why they hid them. Was because they did something illegal.
Yeah. Well,
Not that hiding them themselves was illegal.
I don't know. I guess they'd be put
Oh my
under
God.
investigation, and that's why
I
they can't
guess
say
so.
much to the press until more word comes out.
That's crazy.
I bet they can't even make like a official statement until, they get
Okay.
investigated.
So, the day before, so on January 19th, so this was in New York, it said that they released that the combined total of deaths was 12,000 as of January 19th. And the day earlier, they were only acknowledging 8,700.
Wow. All those people died in one day. That's what it was.
Yep.
It was a fluke.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is what he actually said. Cuomo said, "Who cares if they died in the hospital, died in a nursing home? They died."
Who cares?
Oh my god.
That is a very relevant factor, Governor
That's
Cuomo.
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, wow. If he's on record of saying that,
There's a
he's not
video.
gonna get reelected. Oh, there's a video?
Yeah,
He's screwed.
he is. I can't send you the video because I don't know what it's being hosted on. So
It's all good. He is screwed.
yeah, it's bad, really bad.
Dang, I guess we'll have much more to talk about next week then with his
Hopefully.
situation.
Yeah, hopefully
Hopefully
there'll be
we
a
can
lot more
update.
news to come out about that.
If there's some legality involved in it, that could be a much bigger story than
Imagine he gets
I was
arrested because of this. Whew, that would be crazy.
Oh man. Cuomo. Great last name though.
True.
Thank you, Cuomo, for your service. We'll catch you in the next one. Well, I think we've done good.
Yeah, this has been our longest episode by far, hasn't it?
Yeah. Hour 13 so far.
That's like all our talking points. So
Yeah, I think we hit
I
them
think-
all. I
I
hope.
think this is about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, any final remarks you want to say?
No, I don't got anything. What about you?
Thank you to the one Texan who might be watching this. Thank you to anyone who might be watching this. We appreciate you guys. If you made
We
it this
truly
far,
do.
up top, baby. Catch you in the next one.
All right, goodbye.
Deuces.